This was an unplanned video. I was standing in my kitchen this morning, in here, in this room, in my pajamas, staring at my coffee machine, trying to will it to brew coffee faster. That didn't work, by the way. No OT powers there. And my brain was telling me I was missing some sort of significant date. And I was like, well, duh, brain, it's the 30th of April. So it is the Swedish holiday of Valborgsmässoafton, or Walpurgis night. I think that's what the translation is. Anyways, basically it's the last day of April, and there's going to be a torch parade. The whole local community, or neighborhood, or village, or however you live, will gather at a spot, and everybody will light torches, and we'll walk in a little parade to a bonfire, and we'll have a massive bonfire, and there'll probably be like singing and dancing, and I usually bring marshmallows and roast them and make s'mores, which is a lot of fun because most Swedes don't know what s'mores are, or maybe they've heard of it but never tried it, so I usually bring extra, so everybody who asks gets to try. But we have to wait like an hour and a half for the fire to get down to embers because they're just massive bonfires, and you can't get within like 15 feet of them for the first hour. It's just too hot. So yeah, that's tonight. And I was like, yeah, brain, that's what the significant date is. And my brain was like, nope, it is something else. And then it hit me. This is, I don't have the exact date, but it is April 40 years ago that my mother joined the Sea Org and is still in. So this is my mother's 40th Sea Org anniversary. Not the exact date, because I don't know the exact date, but I do know it was April 1984. My mother, along with my dad, my older brother, and me, left Sweden, arrived in Los Angeles, and they joined the Sea Org. So I thought, I don't want to get all emotional today, guys, because I gotta go soon. I'm short on time, and I'm trying to keep it happy and light because I'm looking forward to the festivities this evening. But I thought I would do a really quick, just sticking to the facts, overview of my mother's career in the Sea Org. Yeah. All right. So, April 1984, she joins the Sea Org with a husband and 2 kids. She is promised during the recruitment into the Sea Org that she's going to join the TTC, the Technical Training Corps, and train to become an auditor, which is the Scientology counselor. And first thing that happens, she does not get to join the TTC. My father did. But my mother, for some reason, I don't know why, I don't know what happened, she was assigned to a post of nanny instead. So instead of doing auditor training, and usually when you do auditor training, you also go up the bridge to total freedom as well, because you have to practice on others and others practice on you. And yeah, it's a good way to move up the bridge within the Sea Org. But yeah, instead of that, she gets to take care of a whole passel of babies and toddlers in diapers. I do not think this is my mother's dream job. The way she describes the shock of being put onto that post makes me think that this was not appreciated. Anyway, so right off the bat, not going as planned. Also, she's sent with me and my brother to Clearwater, Florida, while my dad is still in LA. Yeah, that also didn't work out well, because 1 year, less than a year, I don't know, maybe more than a year, somewhere approximately a year into my mother's Sea Org career, my dad leaves. So her marriage ends and she gets divorced. I've heard that the marriage was on the rocks before they joined the Sea Org, and I don't know why they thought joining the Sea Org was going to save their marriage, or if that's what they were hoping. But I mean, what do I know, guys? I grew up in a cult and I've never been married. Maybe joining the Sea Org would be the perfect thing for a marriage on the rocks. Year 1, divorce, all right? Somewhere year 2 or 3 or maybe 4, I don't know, I was very little. She gets married to a man. I'm going to call him Ralph. That's not his name, but I'm not going to go out with his name. I know he's not in the Sea Org anymore, but I don't know where he stands on Scientology, so I'm going to call him Ralph. All right, so right off the bat, did not get the post she wanted. First year, her marriage ends, she gets a divorce. Somewhere in between year 2 and 5, she gets married to Ralph. Year 5, my brother leaves. My brother is not doing well in the Cadet Org, which is the children's organization, and a decision is made to send him back to Sweden to live with my dad. So in the 5th year of her Sea Org career, my mother pretty much loses all in real life contact with my brother, her son. Right. At the same time, she is taken off the post as nanny and she gets to do the Flag World Tour, which is basically people from the Sea Org, from Flag, just traveling all over the world, trying to get people to go to Flag and pay for services and do services of Flag. So I do think she really liked, she did it for approximately a year, I think, or 6 months, I don't know. And I think she really did like it. She got to travel a lot. She was in Australia. She was in several European countries. And I know that before she got involved in Scientology, she traveled. So I think she likes to travel. And I think she enjoyed doing that. But also somewhere in this year, she divorces Ralph. So we're 5 years into a Sea Org career. We've got 2 divorces and 1 child that she's no longer having close contact to because the child is on a different continent from her. All right, year 6, we're up to 1990 now, guys. After she came back from the Flag World Tour, she was again a nanny for a couple months, I think. And then the sandcastle was newly renovated. And because it was newly renovated, they got to man that up and it's got to be a big thing. And they needed staff. They needed staff to man the restaurant. So she is posted as a waitress in the Sandcastle restaurant. It's a beautiful restaurant. It's right on the water. But yeah, I also don't think waitress is her dream job. Anyway, because she's now posted as a waitress in the Sandcastle restaurant, she and I go from seeing each other every day, because she was a nanny and she was taking care of the kids and I was a kid, to seeing each other 1 evening a week. All right, so we're year 6. She's got 2 divorces. Her first child has moved to the other side of the world from her. And her second child, she is now seeing 1 evening a week. About, I think, maybe a year or so after she starts working in the Sandcastle restaurant, she gets married to my stepfather number 2, and I'm going to call him Thomas. He has passed away. It was a long time ago, and there's a whole story about him, but I'm not going to get into it today, but I'm just going to call him Thomas. Yeah, they were married for a couple years. My mother was really happy in that marriage. But unbeknownst to me, there was issues, not with the relationship, but he was having issues and basically he was kicked out of the Sea Org. So yeah, that happened. That was approximately 1996. So they were married for, I think, maybe 3 or 4 years. But by 1996-ish, 2 things have happened. She no longer has a husband, so that would be divorce number 3 in the Sea Org career. By approximately year 12 in the Sea Org by now. And I left the Cadet Org and joined the Sea Org. So our previous one evening a week that we had together, that was over. That was done. Now it was if maybe like we waved hi to each other if we passed each other in the building. Yeah, that's pretty much what it was. There's no more family time when you're in the Sea Org. You don't need to have a family when you're in the Sea Org. I did spend breakfast on my birthdays in the Sandcastle restaurant. She would buy me, they wouldn't even like comp it, she would buy me a breakfast brunch on the Saturday closest to my birthday every year in the Sandcastle restaurant while she was working. She didn't sit down and eat with me. I sat down and ate a delicious brunch and she was serving. So that's what our relationship was by her 12th year in the Sea Org. 2001, my mother is now in the Sea Org for 17 years. I leave the Sea Org and I move to the other side of the world. So now she has been through 3 divorces. Both her kids have moved to the other side of the world, and she has decided to stay in the Sea Org and not follow her family. A couple years later, she gets married again. I think within a year of that marriage, her husband decides that he wants to leave the Sea Org, and she decides to stay. So that's, what are we up in now? 1, 2, 3, 4 divorces? Yeah, I don't have a lot of specific dates or timelines or anything from after me leaving, and yeah, I don't know much of what happens, but a really short recap. 40 years in the Sea Org. She has dedicated her everything, her life, to the Sea Organization, to Scientology for 40 years. She has had 4 divorces. She has lost contact pretty much. And she still has contact with my brother, but she has lost close contact with both her children. She has seen, like, been in the same country, in the same room as my brother, I think 6 times in 35 years. When he left, he was 12, and the first time she saw him after that, he was 19, and that's because he went to Florida to visit her. But I mean, what's all that worth? You're saving the world, right? And one major thing about joining the Sea Org or joining staff in Scientology is you don't have to pay for your bridge anymore. You get to go up the bridge for free. As long as you don't leave, then you have to pay it all back. But you get to go up the bridge for free. So she's obviously made tons of bridge progress in the Sea Org. In 40 years, right? No, she hasn't. My mother was clear, the state of clear, when she joined the Sea Org. State of clear is a pretty big milestone. It's kind of like halfway up. I usually say it's halfway up on the bridge. It's a big milestone. What's her bridge status today? She's not at clear. I mean, they haven't taken away her status of clear as far as I know. But you know, with the golden age of tech and everything, you have to start over. So she's at the beginning of the bridge because she hasn't redone everything yet. She hasn't redone anything yet. I think she's done TRs and objectives, which is like the first step. So yeah, no, 40 years in the Sea Org, her bridge progress is at best 0, but it's kind of minus. It's less than it was when she joined. Has she done any auditor training? Because I mean, half the bridge on one side of the bridge, that's auditor training. And that's like also a big deal in Scientology. No auditor training. Yeah, you get 2.5 hours of study a day. And I know from personal experience, and I know because I've seen her sometimes back in the day when I was still there, that's prime sleeping time for staff. You would get in trouble for it, But seriously, you're working like 16-hour days and you're going to sit and read the word salad of L. Ron Hubbard. It's the best sleeping pill I've ever taken. Knocks you out. So no, she hasn't done any training. I do know she was, I think, starting the Student Hat, which is a low-level course that you take that's supposed to teach you like the really good study technology, and you have to do that before you can start your auditor training. I don't know if she ever finished it. The last course she was doing was the PTSSP course, which she was being told to take because I'm a suppressive person and she needs to confront and shatter me. Although she can't do that because she refuses to speak to me. So yeah, I think maybe she finished that because my brother was actually down in the States and visited her not too long ago, and she was supposed to finish that before she could take off and be with him for a week, even though he went all the way to the States to see her. There was still a condition of she had to finish the PTSSP course. PTS is potential trouble source and SP is suppressive person. And that course is supposed to basically just teach you how to deal with suppressive people, which is anybody who doesn't wish well for Scientology. Sea Org rank. For as long as I was in, she was not an officer. She had this. She had a silver chain. I don't know what rank she had. I think maybe like 5 or 6 years ago, she had applied to become an officer, and she might have gotten that, but I don't actually know. So 40 years, she's maybe an officer. Maybe. I don't know. What do you guys think? Is that an awesome career or what? Yeah. Anyways, my mom's gonna keep dedicating herself and saving the world. I am gonna go watch my daughter's writing lessons, and then I'm gonna go party around the bonfire. And yeah, I kind of prefer mine. I'm not saving the world, but are they? I don't know. All right. I will hopefully get around to the quiz, part 4, within a few days, maybe tomorrow, because tomorrow's a bank holiday, but I might be busy hanging out with my kid. So yeah, I'll see you guys later. Thanks for listening. Mental health is important, and don't be culty.